Did somebody ask for some power? So this is the EcoFlow Delta 3. It's obviously a power station, and I absolutely think this is one of the biggest necessities you could have if you are in really any sort of filmmaking. So EcoFlow makes a ton of different variations of their different power stations depending on your needs. This is the size that I really like. It's essentially a 1 kilowatt unit, but man, for the 3rd generation, it has been beefed up quite a bit in terms of performance. You have everything from 1500 watts of AC charging, getting you to 100% charge in under an hour. You can charge it through solar, the car, other types of generators. There's so many ways to get this thing charged up. And once you have it all charged up, you'll be able to output up to 1800 watts or 2600 watts with X Boost. Now, if I turn this around here, you can see 6 AC ports here, and what's already plugged in here is actually my key light, which if we look at the front display or in the app itself, we can see that we have 13 hours and 9 minutes remaining, because this 150 watt hour light, which I think is on like 60%, is only taking 50 watts right now. And I started setting up for this video when the unit had like 69%, so it's only taken like 3% so far. We can control the different various ports that are being plugged in. So even if I was home or away, I could shut off the AC ports or USB. And then this is also where we see the charging ports. If we open this up, and this does actually slide in, which is a nice little touch to get the door out of the way. Switching around to this side here, this is actually where you can connect an expansion port. That's right, EcoFlow makes a bunch of expansion ports. So if you want to start with this unit, but then build up a system over time, again, that you can either bring on set or use as a home backup battery system, you can connect a number of these together to increase not only your output, but just your overall longevity. One really nice thing is this power station operates insanely quietly. So if you are using this on set where dialogue is being picked up, you're not going to have any issues. I think this is like 30 decibels is like the basic thing. I'm going to turn off any noise reduction or whatever in software. The mic is literally right next to the fan exhaust port here as I'm talking, and like, how does it sound? Like, don't get me wrong, my ear's right here, I can hear it, but mics are not going to pick this thing up if it's more than a couple inches away. Now, this also has EcoFlow's X-Guard technology, which actually helps make it a little bit fire resistant as well as waterproof. If you are on set and it does start raining or anything like that, it's at least going to give you some time to throw a protective bag over it or get it out of the pouring rain without just instantly frying itself or whatever. I know a lot of people ask about weight with these sort of things, and I mean, don't get me wrong, it's not like a feather, but it's maybe like 20-25 pounds or so max. All right, so out here I've set up kind of this faux interview style setup that's just going to illustrate exactly how I use this on normal sets. And again, that can be weddings, remote location interviews, just whatever you want to fill in the blank as. We've got 2 500 watt lights. We've got a little DIT kind of charging station set up over here. All right, so to get this rolling, we got to get power to these lights, the laptop, and everything. If we look down here on the actual unit and I wake it up, we can see we have 99% charge. So the first thing I'm going to do is turn on this front USB section here. That's going to turn this on. That's going to give us battery power for our Ronin grip there, as well as our lav mics right here. And here you're able to see that we're able to plug in our 2 big lights, and we also have plenty of room to plug in these really big annoying power bricks. Turn that on. You can see on the front the numbers starting to jump as it's starting to take on the different loads here. So the laptop is plugged in, the Canon charger is now turned on, and of course the big draw is going to be these lights here. So let's take this up to like 30%. That's filling in that area pretty nicely. Let's do the same thing just for experiment's sake on our key right there. So we've got 2 lights at 30%. We can see our output is just under 400 watts right there, and it's showing 3 hours of runtime. Out of curiosity, I switched it to 15% on both of these lights, and now we can see that we're pulling 5 hours. So obviously it's no surprise that the biggest thing that's going to sway how long this single battery is going to last you on the Delta 3 is the big power sources like lights. If you're battling harsh daylight here, and if I kick these both up to 100%, in theory this should be now 1,000 watts being pulled between these two. Yep, we can see on the front here it's now at just under 1,200, and we're only going to get 1 hour of runtime, which could be enough. Who knows? Maybe the power just goes out temporarily and you just need something to hold you over. But I'll be honest, I can't even tell you the last time that I shot a scene where we had the lights at 100%. These 500 watts, I'm normally using around the 15% mark. I have tested out external batteries, ones I've never shown you because they're just crap and I'm not going to do a video on something that I don't think is quality. And I've plugged in big powerful lights like this, and as soon as you cross over that like 60 or 80%, sometimes batteries like this will start to flicker the lights, or one will cut out, or it won't work, or cause issues like that. And when you're on a set, you literally cannot have that happen. So obviously you're just watching a edited version where everything's kind of going by very quickly. But when I did the test where I set these lights to 100%, I let them sit out here at 100% for 10 or 15 minutes just to make sure that they didn't start flickering, they didn't start randomly turning off, or having any sort of issues like that. So I do like how even with the handles, they're not like protruding up. Everything is very flat and dare I say table-like, so it's actually the perfect setup if you need to place anything on top, if you need to stack batteries. Most people think that you only need something like this if you're filming out in the middle of a field or something where there is zero power. But what people don't realize is there's so many locations, even internal ones, that have limited power you're not allowed to use, or just the wrong types of connections. There's so many variables that this just removes one of those headaches if you run into those issues. I actually really like having the different ports on two different sides, because there's nothing more annoying than like plugging something big in and then a bunch of your ports are being covered up. Keeps everything nice and tight. And to be honest, if I'm able to power all those crazy lights for a good number of hours, then you have no issues when it comes to keeping your laptops, tablets, phones charged, plugged in, and all your different camera batteries. This is going to give you more than a day's worth shoot. And fun little fact, again, regardless of what type of production you're on, if you have clients or again, a bride room or whatever, do you know how good you look, how much of a lifesaver you are when someone goes, oh my gosh, my phone's about to die, and you can go, I got you. Again, really the only cons that I can come up with for the Delta 3 that I'd love to see kind of changed in future iterations is a little less USB type A, a little bit more USB type C. But besides that, this has been my overview and use cases for the Delta 3. How would you use it? Let me know down in the comments below. And of course, if you want to pick up one for yourself, check out the link in the description, because you may get a little bit extra off, a little bit better of a deal down there, and it helps support me and the channel. So huge shout out to EcoFlow for sending this out my way, and huge shout out to you for watching this video. I'll see you guys in the next one.